Hello and welcome back to the Misfits podcast, rated 5 stars on iTunes by Ripped Jesus, who says, imagine how epic your cremation will be if you swallow a bag of popcorn kernels right before you die.
Ooh.
That would be fucking lit.
That'd be
Imagine
poppin'.
it just starts popping in your
Pretty
stomach.
excited about that.
That'd
That
be
sounds
fucking
pretty fucking epic.
You'd make
That'd
that
be
guy's
pretty
day
damn
who's burning
cool.
you, you know? He fucking pulls you out of the oven. There's just fresh popcorn there.
Imagine if that was the way you died. You
What?
just
By
Popcorn
cremation?
exploding in your stomach?
not by cremation, but by eating a bunch of popcorn kernels and then suffocating to death.
Oh.
But then it would be in your throat.
There was one time that I was going to a Red Sox game with my dad, and we had both gotten high beforehand, and we were at a barbecue place in Boston, and for the first time ever, I experienced what I thought was like the actual feeling of like really choking, where I thought something was wrong.
Oh,
Have you ever had a situation where you feel like the world is like, you're like, oh shit.
I swallowed a whole cherry tomato and completely blocked my windpipe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it was like I was eating like corn, not popcorn, but corn, and it was like, and it must have been something about, you know, when you're high, like it's swallowing is sort of like weird or I don't know.
'Cause
something.
Would you swallow like the
I
whole
was like
cob,
really
or
high. We had like a pen. What?
did you swallow the whole cob, or?
No, it was like I just had I just eaten a lot of corn very fast, and I was like I was
Eating a lot of corn
and
very
I
fast.
was struggling to breathe in the moment, but then I recovered, and it was very scary in the moment. Yeah.
Well, that's great. We're
Yeah.
joined here today by Toby on the telly.
Hi, I'm Toby on the telly.
We got Matt.
Hi,
Torres.
what it do? I'm Matt.
We have our two special guests,
Oh.
Travis
Hi.
and Ted Nivison.
Hey, what's up?
It's Ted Nivison,
Yeah,
right? Not
Nivison.
Ted Nivision.
Yeah, not Nivision. I don't know how Siri gets it right too.
Really?
Siri gets my last name right, but for some reason, so many people are just like they just think it's a play. My full username is like a play on television, but it's
Yeah,
not.
but that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, it's not. It's just my
I'm
name.
I'm Swaggershills, by the way.
Yeah.
So, Ted, you just said that you went to a game with your dad, and you said you were both high.
Yeah.
You got high with your dad?
Yeah. Ever since
Interesting.
it kind of Massachusetts made marijuana legal for recreation, my dad has really, because my dad smoked weed all the time when he was in college and stuff.
Yeah.
And he recently started getting more into it. So he's got like a little pen, and whenever he's a season ticket holder for the Red Sox, so he goes to the games all the time, and he'll always just like he'll smoke a pen
That's
before
really cool.
going.
That's hella cool.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. I get to, whenever I'm home, I just smoke with my dad. Yeah, one of our traditions now is like we like to smoke and then watch Rick and Morty, and that's the only time he ever watches Rick and Morty. And he loves the show because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is what he'll say. It's just so ridiculous. Yeah.
All right.
cute.
Well, let's start the podcast by having you two tell us about yourself, what you're doing currently, about your group.
Okay, Travis.
Yeah, like for those of the audience, the very, very, very tiny amount of the audience that doesn't know who you guys are.
Right. Well, okay. I guess I'll go first. I'm Ted. I run I don't really know what my channel is. I just kind of do whatever the fuck I think is funny. And it's like sort of like commentary on like shitty movies. I do stuff like with one of the people who are in our group lunch club with Cooper. We did this thing where we invented Healy tricks. That was pretty fun.
Oh, yeah, I remember that video.
And yeah, I'm doing YouTube, and I'm also going to college right now for cinema and photography is my major.
Hey.
Yeah.
What about you, Travis?
For me, I do so many different things, I'm so nah, I'm just kidding. No,
Where is this
no,
going?
right
I was
now,
thinking-
just uploading YouTube videos, like gaming content, stuff
Streaming
like that.
too, right?
Streaming,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's married to the grind.
Mostly all the stuff on my YouTube is just taken from my Twitch and like edited down, made it funnier,
Did you start with Twitch first?
No,
YouTube
no,
first?
Yeah, YouTube first.
His first couple videos were really interesting.
Yeah.
What were they?
Are they still on the channel? They're like these 7-second videos. This was back when I didn't really even know Travis back in the day when I saw these videos for the first time, but it's like just a angry looking dog. And then him in Photoshop just moving it around, just going rawr, 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 rawr. Like 7 to 10
was the
second
first one.
videos. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can
so
see
the
that.
first one I made, I just screen recorded Photoshop, and then I just moved it around, and then I edited it. I just cut it out, cut the parts out, and then cropped it, so you can't see like all the like Photoshop controls. But you can still see like the gray background.
Right.
So and then I just cut it up and uploaded that, and just was like,
You had one that was like with a frisbee, right? Where it was like a frisbee, and then it was just like going across different landscapes.
yeah, frisbee would go across the screen and the background would change.
Would you like have
Ah.
the mouse pointer on the frisbee and like drag it across the screen?
No, because when I did that one, I actually upgraded to using keyframes.
Ah.
Okay, this is
Ah.
epic.
It's getting good.
Keyframes in Premiere.
Wow.
The first 2 videos were capped Photoshop, and then I think I made 5 more after that, where it's keyframing in Premiere.
That's what we call growth, folks.
How did
That
those
is
videos
growth.
do?
Well, when I first uploaded them, like
Yeah.
nothing, but like right now, I think they all have like over 150K.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what we call legacy views, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where did you start, Ted?
Where did I start?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so a long time ago. So I first off, when I started you want the very, very beginning?
Sure.
Okay, 2009, I made a channel called Pivot.
2009?
Ah.
Yeah, I made a channel called Pivot TKN, which is
This
like
guy's
my
old.
first, middle, and last name.
Was
TKN.
Pivot, was that the stick
Pivot-
figure animation?
Yeah, stick
Yeah,
figure.
there
I was
you
really,
go.
Yeah.
I was really, really into stick figure animations. So I made a couple of those. I had originally gotten into animation because I had gone to a video game camp called Imagination Camp because I wanted to learn how to make video games.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I was there, I got really into an animation class that showed me Flash animation. And it was too expensive for me at the time to get Macromedia Flash. So I started using Pivot, and I got really into that. And then I got into like the sort of the stick figure animation world, and I started uploading those to YouTube. And then I eventually kind of stopped doing that because it took too fucking long. And then I made I wanted to play like Minecraft, but I only had an Xbox. I didn't have like a good computer at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the best game for like the Minecraft equivalent at the time, because Minecraft hadn't come out for Xbox yet, it was called Total Miner.
Oh, I remember that shit. That was a
Oh.
good ass
Yeah,
game.
so I played Total Miner all the time. This was back when I had an Xbox and my parents still had parental control, so I can only play the Xbox for like 2 hours at a time before it got locked out.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so I made my first real video that I made on YouTube, where I actually went into it intending to make a video, not just re-uploading like animations I'd made. Was I'd made like a zombie quarantine town, and it was called like Total Miner Zombie Quarantine Town, and my channel was called Total Miner Builder. And it was like my first video I ever really tried to make for YouTube, and it got 40,000 views,
Holy
which
crap.
I was
That's not
like,
bad. First
Oh,
attempt.
yeah.
so, which was weird because it was like it set up so high of an expectation for how videos are supposed to do on
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
or when you're really, really small. And I did that for the longest time, and I started doing Minecraft and stuff. And but then eventually I moved to make a new channel called Jibberdah, and I made that on my
Jibberdah?
Jibberdah because
Jibberdah?
because so there's so much to this. When I used to go to camp, I had this nickname as this like ridiculous character I used to do all the time, and I called it Jebediah. So the username Jibberdah was supposed to be a phonetical way of how I used to say that name, and I would go Jibberdah,
Oh, yeah.
I see. How do you spell it?
Jehberdeh.
Jesus.
And then I did gaming videos on that. So I made that on my birthday in 2013, and I made gaming videos all the way up until like 2015 until I kind of stopped, and I only had like 3,600 subscribers or something. And then when I got to college, I switched into doing sort of normal videos.
Yeah.
And I did that pretty much up until I kept doing it. I was doing it like once every like 4 months. I was making a video, and then I went on the podcast, the Solitary Confinement podcast with Carson.
Hey,
And
I was on that.
He
That's an
kind of
old
got
one.
me into. He kind of told me that the videos I made were like good, and that I should make them more often. So I started doing them more and more, and sort of more in the last like 2 years, and now here I am.
Do you still do any gaming content? Like, do you stream?
I do stream, yeah. I
Yeah.
stream on my Twitch. I have like a second channel that I want to do like highlight videos and stuff, but it's just I'm so busy with college right now that
Yeah.
I can't. Currently I'm taking a 2-month break from YouTube right now just
Yeah.
to finish college. So I don't really even have time for that. But once I get out of college, I think I'm going to start doing streaming highlights more.
That's
Hell
a smart
yeah.
thing. Waiting until you're like completely done with college. If you're like
Yeah,
right
exactly.
at the end there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're at the end. It's not like you're just
Yeah,
a
final
year in,
stretch.
2 years in. It's
Yeah.
like it's like you
Exactly.
can
Might
wait
as well
2
finish
months,
it.
dude. You
Yeah,
can wait 2
exactly.
months.
It's like literally like May 17th is commencement. So
That
it's
easy,
like,
dude.
yeah.
Easy dub. You'll have a degree that you'll hang
Yeah.
up on your wall, and it'll gather dust.
Yeah,
as,
yeah.
as,
And
as
then you'll
you
hang your
make it
YouTube
on
plaque
YouTube.
over it.
Very,
There you
very
go.
expensive receipt, as they
Yeah,
call it.
a nice little receipt.
Yeah.
So, Travis, when did you transition from little Photoshop animations to gaming?
It all started because like I was just hanging out with like Carson and everyone, and they're like, you should do that, or like I was kind of showed interest because they all did it.
How did you meet Carson and those people?
So it all started because I met Cooper first.
Yeah.
In 2018 VidCon, we stayed at the same Airbnb
Oh, you went to
then.
VidCon.
Yeah.
So was that through a mutual friend you met
yeah,
Cooper?
yeah. Mutual friend.
Who was the
Like,
mutual friend?
It was my friend Sam. I
Mm.
don't know if you guys know him. 69 Sam 420. Yeah.
No.
That's his name.
Don't think I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's him.
Doesn't ring a bell.
The username aptly called 69
That's,
Sam 420.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
good.
him.
That's a respectful username.
Yeah, he was our mutual friend. I met Cooper there. And then eventually we just kept talking after VidCon.
Mhm.
And then I think Cooper invited Carson to play Fortnite with him. So I met Carson through that session.
That's
Hell
so
yeah.
funny. That's so funny. I like the way I met Carson was just like was just so kind of weird because like Carson and I met because I think Carson's been subscribed to me for like almost 6 years at
Holy
this point.
shit.
Yeah.
What a loser.
Yeah, total loser. Don't know why he was watching. Like, because back when I made the gaming videos, he was subscribed to me, and this was back when he also originally on his Call Me Carson channel made gaming videos of like CS:GO and like Trouble in Terrorist Town and stuff. I think.
Overwatch pun video.
I don't know if Overwatch was even out by then. But
Carson,
cringing in the corner,
Carson is off camera.
Yeah, he's over
right
there,
now
looking like an
watching the
idiot.
show. I'm sorry to bring that up. He's cringing really hard.
I can see the physical
I'm so
cringe. Like,
sorry.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
he and I both were putting these short little videos on YouTube Haiku, and he messaged me on Twitter at one point. He was like, "Hey man, we both have the top video on YouTube Haiku," and I said, "That's cool." And then like a year went by, no, maybe 2 years went by, and then he was like, "Hey, want to come on my podcast?" And then that's when we met, pretty much.
Interesting.
And then I don't know, and then like 4 months later, I started just going on his videos.
Hell yeah.
So because you guys are both in Lunch Club,
Yes.
previously known as Goop and many other names.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
When did
Fart Club was my favorite.
Yeah, Fart
Game
Club
Men wasn't my
Game
preferred
Men,
choice,
dude.
but Game Men.
Game
Men.
Men.
Game
Game
Men. What
Game Men.
what is?
we out here gaming,
No,
you
it's
know?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
game men.
goes all
Yeah.
Game Men,
We are
but you're
game men.
gaming. You're gaming Game Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Gaming or gaming?
We are game men. That was what the point of the name
Yeah.
was. I don't
No,
know
it's a
what
totally-
the confusion is.
Totally reasonable name.
It just seemed a little bit generic.
Well, that's why we don't have it anymore.
Of course. Fart Club was original.
Oh yeah, Fart
Who
Club,
came up
it
with
was
Fart Club?
fresh, literally. It sort of but
Who came up with Fart Club? Whose idea was that?
I think it was sort of I
I think
know.
it was our friend Josh.
Yeah.
It was
oh,
his idea.
who's
There you go.
Johnny?
Yeah.
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 So, but
He farted the most.
When did you guys decide that instead of just being a bunch of people playing games together and hanging out together, you want to actually make it into a group?
I don't really know, and I'm getting a lot of confused
Yeah.
faces from the people off camera too. So I don't think we really know. I think that I don't know. I think
When
we
did
all,
you call it Goop?
what?
Like, when did you settle on like branding for your group?
I don't know. I wasn't really in like in the name choice thing. I remember at one point it was the Unzipped podcast that Carson was running, and then people were like, we want to start like a new podcast, and we're gonna call it Goopcast. And I was like, okay, that sounds pretty weird as a name, so I like it. And I was just like down. I don't know exactly what the naming process was, but yeah.
So what was that, like just over a year ago?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
about.
really fucking struggling on the timeline right now.
Oh my
because
God.
it's been a very quick year. and a half
Travis
so
is
far.
drawing blanks too. He's just sitting there shaking his
Yeah,
head.
we don't really know, but it just kind of ended up as like Lunch Club, and I don't know. It's nice to see the channel now sort of turning into something like real. It's sort of kind of gaining a serious shape, which is nice, and to have like that kind of consistent branding now. Cool with the
'Cause
Lunch Club.
How would you describe what Lunch Club is?
We make the funny, we do the thing. That's our quote. That's on our Twitter. You can look at it there and I think that's probably
What's the Twitter? What's the Twitter?
At Lunch Club.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a quote that had been told to me by an old man who was
Pretty old.
he was pretty old. I met him at a farmer's market in Pennsylvania, and I said, he was part of a improv comedy troupe for old men only, and I asked him, well, what do you do? And he said, we make the funny, we do the thing, and that really stuck with me.
He was from the comedy troupe FOMO. For old men only.
Yes, yeah.
So interestingly enough, sometimes people will say that we make the funny, but
do they really do the thing? Is the question?
I've come to understand that the only time we get to make the funny is when we've just had a fresh glass of Gamer Subs.
Oh,
Without a fresh glass of Gamer Subs from gamersubs.gg using code Misfits, we just really struggled to be funny, So I guess just downing one right now.
Should I make some Gamer Subs?
I mean,
with
you
the
can
Finish mine.
Join me.
Just
I'm
finish
making
mine.
some. Join me.
Corona.
Dude, I'm wearing a mask. No excuse.
That doesn't.
You just
That-
ate a fucking you ate a chicken nugget off the fucking floor.
Oh,
yeah,
you
because
think
the
so?
floor doesn't have coronavirus. You might.
Dude,
Speaking
that's
of
really
coronavirus,
disrespectful.
Oh.
is that something that is a genuine concern? And is it ever in the back of your head at the moment? Both
Here's
of you?
here's
Or
the
in your
thing.
lungs.
It's definitely more. It's gained sort of a legitimacy in my mind when the schools start like the colleges in my area, such as
Oh yeah,
like
the local
the
ones.
colleges in the New York area are for instance like Syracuse. They're moving to just online classes.
Yeah.
Thank God. It's
One
about
of the
time.
other
Damn.
colleges in my college town, they are moving to online classes. Mine hasn't yet, but they're definitely going to. And what's weird about that is that kind of affects how I do my classes and stuff like that. But it also it makes it more legitimate in the sense that it's like, oh shit, this is something I might actually get.
What about you, Travis? Has that been something that you've been concerned about at all?
Honestly, I've not been paying I never pay attention to any stuff like this.
Same.
So I've totally
Good.
don't know anything about it, to be honest.
Good.
The only stuff I know is if people around me are talking, my brain's like, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
much it.
weird because I don't know if in our lifetime at least I feel like we haven't really seen too much. I don't know. It's weird because it's not
dude,
that it's not
H1
that deadly, but it's just spreading
H1Z1,
so much.
SARS,
Yeah, but those got stopped so
They were,
fast.
small,
and, this
remote
is so many
areas.
more
yeah,
people
this
that
is
have died.
this is,
Plus,
it's
It's
contagious.
just everywhere now.
But it's only
every
what,
country.
2% of people that die? I mean, either way.
like 4.
Either way.
On a positive note, everyone's all at home. They're watching Netflix. They're watching YouTube. It's good for us. More people are watching this podcast, maybe.
there you go. There
you
you
go.
go.
Well, hopefully.
If you're at
Hopefully.
home sick with the coronavirus
If they haven't died
and you're
yet,
tuning
but-
in,
You want to hear something funny? Have you
Yeah.
heard this? Corona beer has lost $135 million in sales because of the coronavirus.
yeah, dude,
Oh, yeah.
35% of all Americans who won't drink coronavirus
Because
That's
they
epic.
think that it has
well, they
something
won't
to do with
drink. I'm
the
sure they
coronavirus?
won't
drink
Oh,
coronavirus.
the
Yeah, I
corona.
hope so.
They
I
won't
don't wanna
drink
drink
corona because they think it has
I mean,
something to
I
do
think
with
I'm in that
coronavirus.
35 cents. I won't drink coronavirus. I'll drink Corona beer.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah. But it's so stupid that you messed it up, though.
It
Yeah,
really
like the
is.
people
You're a big
I'm
dumb
actually
fucking idiot.
embarrassed.
It's funny because it was a funny
Yeah.
mess up.
Hey, dude, I drink Gamer Subs,
And he made the
I
funny.
made the funny.
Hey, we
Oh,
made the funny. Look
shoot.
at that.
We
Mind
make the
blown.
funny, we do the thing. Oh
So
my God.
you study film? Right?
Yes, my major is cinema and photography with a concentration in cinema production. Baby.
And
Gay kinda.
is film, has that always been a big part of your life?
Yeah, I mean, going back when I originally did that sort of animation shit, that sort of kind of led into me doing the video sort of. I've always been making little shitty, stupid videos with my friends. I was very when I was in 7th grade, I got introduced to Freddie W. Do you guys remember him?
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Good
and
shit.
I watched his videos all the time, and I was very interested in that being something that I could do. And then I don't know. I also did theater and shit in high school, so it was sort of that sort of production aspect of making some sort of production like a show.
Were
Plus
you in?
my interest in video and shit.
Were you in musicals or anything
Yeah,
in theater?
I was.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you always the lead?
I mean, there's a lot of talented people who went to my high school, but I don't know. I got a couple leads. Yeah, I played
Speaking-
Willard in Footloose. That was fun.
Ooh.
Speaking of
nice.
musicals,
Yeah.
Boston. what a show. What a performance there
Oh,
by Ted.
karaoke.
We went out.
Oh yeah.
So we talked about this on the Raj podcast,
Right.
but obviously the order of these podcasts,
when
who
Raj
fucking
and,
knows
when
when
Raj
these are coming out?
and Fitz sang "Don't Go Breaking My Heart."
Yeah.
But basically, we went to a restaurant, and it ended up being a karaoke bar as well.
Yeah.
And Ted just put in a magnificent
Oh yeah.
performance.
No, it was Zuckles and who else?
Jay.
Jay.
And, yeah, they sang "I Want It That Way," and I thought it'd be really funny if I went up and I sang the Weird Al Yankovic version of that song. I bought on eBay, so I did.
It was
How'd it
good.
go?
Yeah, thank
It was
you.
very, very good.
I'm glad I was I for some reason what's weird about that karaoke machine was that the parts that you feel like you should sing that would make sense in a karaoke, it just doesn't give you the prompts for. And
Oh.
it'll like put like the backtrack for a lot of stuff, but then I don't know, it's confusing. It'll try to feed you parts of the song that you don't remember, and then it won't show you stuff that you do. It's
Weird.
kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Travis, what did you do before YouTube? Were you just in school? Did you have any
I
jobs?
was in school, yeah.
Did you work any jobs before YouTube?
No.
Nah, he's like me. He's never had a
Yeah.
job.
What about you?
It's epic.
What about you, Ted?
I worked at Staples.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
Yeah, I worked at Easy Tech and Staples, which was miserable. My manager, Fred. Hey, Fred, if you're watching
Hey,
this,
fuck you, Fred.
Fuck you, Fred.
Wait,
Oh my
fuck
God,
you,
he was
Fred.
the worst.
Fuck
he,
you,
he
Fred.
drove in from like New Hampshire every day for some reason. Like,
Oh, what a
like, why?
tryhard.
And that, which is like an hour and a half drive to get. I don't even know. And he would always.
He would
always
drive
had,
an hour and a half to work at fucking Staples.
He had the worst.
Yeah, but he gets
breath
the title of manager,
of
though.
any person I've ever met. He drank coffee religiously, but I also think he drank coffee and then didn't brush his teeth. So it was like this coffee, but also
Coffee,
like the smell
sugar,
of
and-
trash at the
yeah.
dump.
That reminds
you
me of my
know?
math teacher, same way.
Yeah,
Come
it
over to
it
lean over to
gross.
help
I
you.
could, like whenever he was like telling me I was doing something wrong, I could barely fucking talk to the guy because it was like SpongeBob and that when he was eating all the
Son.
onions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross.
So I suspect that if you weren't doing YouTube, you would be trying to pursue something in the film industry.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually in LA in 2018. I was doing a internship. I interned at a company called CSLA, Cinema Support LA, which is a camera rental house. So, and also when I was at school up until this point, I work at like the camera rental zone at my school. So like I worked with like a lot of camera technology, like Red cameras. And,
Ooh,
and
what's the most
Arri.
expensive camera that you had there, or that you personally have like touched or used?
Oh, like the most expensive. Well, one of the things that I did at CSLA was that I would also do runs to other rental houses and
Yeah.
stuff. And one of the things that I just had in my truck that they were having me move was a lens kit of Canon K35 lenses,
Oh,
which are
shit.
they're vintage lenses. And they were. Have you ever seen the Amazon show The Handmaid's Tale?
Mm-hmm.
It's after the book. Well, basically they were shot to film that, and after that, the price for them went up a lot. And a kit of them of like 4 lenses or 4 or 5 lenses is worth $250,000.
Oh yeah, those cinema. That
Yeah.
blows my mind. I was looking
Yeah.
at cameras recently to get an upgrade. You start looking at like the cinema cameras and the lenses and shit.
Yeah.
Like the prices blow my mind.
Yeah, it's like,
insane.
and they get more expensive when you get a full kit of them, because when you buy just the camera, what you're getting is just the brain.
Yeah.
But then you need the lens, you need the
battery
the backing
lens,
for
the
battery.
cards, all the shit for that
Yeah,
stuff.
you need the cards. It's you need the external monitors for them. You need it's a lot.
It's like
But
5,
it's
6
cool.
digits fast with that
Yeah,
shit.
it's
insane.
cool learning about it and stuff too. I think that like I would either be working as like doing directing stuff, or I'd probably work as like a camera assistant on set or something if I were to come out to LA.
Yeah, the only technical job I've ever had was photography.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of photography.
Yeah,
But
photography's sick.
the fucking camera world is insane.
Yeah, no, but
Money
it's
is
cool
crazy.
learning about it all, and I know like for my film, I'm working with my friend Katie. She's gonna be the director of photography for my short film, my thesis film, and she worked at rental houses too and stuff like Able City and stuff like that, and yeah, it's
I
cool.
want to chat about this short film, but first, I want to ask you what you would be doing if you weren't doing YouTube. Like, if, let's say theoretically, you could stop doing YouTube right now and go into the absolute job of your dreams. You don't need any qualifications. You don't need anything. You just get accepted instantly. What job would that be,
Travis?
Travis?
Oh boy. I really don't know. I've never thought about it. But I was in school for cybersecurity before I dropped out.
Really?
Oh, I
I
was
didn't know
gonna
that.
Really?
No, I didn't.
I was gonna say, like, what were you planning on doing if YouTube wasn't what happened? And it was
Well,
going to be
where I
cybersecurity?
we lived next to a very high priority military zone, and so like on the base you can get a really good job for like cybersecurity immediately. So I was just gonna do that and then go work on the base and stuff, and
Hell
then
yeah.
you get a really good paid job after that.
Oh, yeah.
That's sick. Wow.
That was a
very
good game
interesting.
plan.
Hell yeah, Travis. Pound it. Travis is going to work as cybersecurity on a military base if all this shit falls through.
Yeah, but now you're just a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah, shame.
Cybersecurity
Fucking
job would have been pretty
YouTuber.
Just
cool.
a fucking YouTuber
Would have been a
making the
pretty cool
videos
job,
online.
Travis. You would have had.
I would have had benefits, you know.
You would have
Yeah.
had benefits.
Oh.
You would have had health care.
Here's a question for us YouTuber people. How many times has like a relative asked you, okay, so how
do you
much
make
money do you
money?
make per subscriber?
subscriber. Yeah, many times.
That's the question I always get
Yeah.
asked, which is a very legitimate question I've realized, because for most of these fucking
Boomers.
Yeah, subscriber
um,
means like
boomers.
subscribing to
Yeah,
a magazine.
it's-
You
Yeah,
pay.
I feel like that's the
Exactly.
boomer term of subscribers.
And so it
Subscribing
makes more
to the
sense with
service.
something like Twitch, where you actually subscribe and you pay
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of money to do that.
It's actually
But
weird when you think about it. YouTube's the only thing that says subscribe that you don't pay for.
Yeah,
like online.
it is weird, but and then you have to get it.
You have to explain to them for 40 minutes how it actually works and how
Yeah.
you get paid.
Yeah, the more my channel grows, the more the family parties become sort of like an explanation of how the entire online entertainment
Yeah.
Industry works.
That's every
Are you-
family gathering is just explaining how your job works.
Yeah, exactly.
Are your
It's interesting.
family? Is your family supportive of
Oh
what
yeah,
you do?
they're my parents are super supportive. It's cool explaining it when there's family parties and explaining it to like my aunts and uncles about like how it works and stuff, because some of them don't even really know that I'm doing that, and then they get shown like some of these videos I have that have like hundreds of thousands of views, and they're like, wait, what? And then they're very interesting. Like in Thanksgiving, my godfather, he was very very interested in discovering all that, because he hadn't known about it before. But yeah,
Oh fuck!
my godfather, he's such an interesting guy. He has the most ridiculous stories, but I'm just going to say one thing that, just to explain what he's like. One thing that he told me was that he went to Spain, and he came back. He went to Spain for a while, and he came back being fluent in Spanish. But one of the things that he told me about was that there was this one guy that he met in like France on the way that was like this professional chef, and he bought for $40 a giant block of hash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would they would sprinkle a little bit on their cigarettes before they're smoking, and they would they basically had a shit ton of it. And he was telling me that he does not remember a 3-week period of time during the time that he was going from France to get to Spain.
Holy shit.
And he was like, when he got there, he was like a month and a half late to when he was actually supposed to be there.
Holy shit!
Yeah, he's got kind of like a crazy whole,
Yeah,
he's
Europe's
ridiculous.
wild.
Yeah.
Europe's fucking crazy.
The last time we were in Spain, we hung out with a bunch of Bitcoin millionaires
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
they do.
probably not anymore now.
who had
Yeah, not anymore.
Oh, bruh.
they were just some of those people that when it was really cheap, they were like, I'm going to sell my car and buy all of the Bitcoin.
Right.
And then they're worth like tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's always fun to think about, like, man, like because have you ever seen that video of that one guy who was buying? It was a very old video of Bitcoin, and he was demonstrating how
it's like how to buy a pizza or some shit.
buy pizza with
Yeah,
like 4 Bitcoin, which
Oh.
would have been
Oh.
at its height would have been an
Imagine
$80,000 pizza.
Imagine buying pizza with 4 Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Oh.
insane.
Oh, dude.
Shoulda,
Yeah.
coulda, woulda.
Dude, that's one happy pizza delivery guy.
Imagine how many hard drives are out there with like bitcoins that are like lost in a dumpster or something because they threw it away not
Think
knowing.
about that. Like, that's probably a pretty legit. Oh shit.
Sure, people are going to be
Oh,
like scavenging through
yeah.
hard drives nowadays and like
Oh,
dumps
dude.
and checking
Yeah.
shit like that.
Cut
Goddamn.
that out of the podcast. We could capitalize on that.
Yeah. Now
Back
you
up
got
your
people-
wallets,
Let's
people.
go to the dump.
Back up
with the
your
metal
wallets.
detector.
Yeah,
Find some hard
one
drives.
person who works at like any sort of electronic recycling plant or something like that. Yeah, goddamn.
Speaking of like Spain and stuff, have you guys ever traveled outside of the country? We'll start with you.
Of course.
Once.
Yeah, you went to
Australia.
Oh, yeah, Australia.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Australia.
of course.
I've been to. There was in high school. There was like every 2 years the chorus. Like I was in the chorus. They would do like a choral trip
Oh.
where they would
choral.
go. We would go somewhere for every 2 years. It would be switch off between domestic and international. So in 2015, I went to Spain and France as part of the chorus trip, which was cool. We went to Barcelona and Toulouse, France, which was very, very
Barcelona's
fun.
lovely.
Yeah, and then one time in high school, I went to China. Yeah.
Why'd you go to China?
Because I could. I saw a poster and it was like, "Wanna see a panda?" Which, by the way, I don't think we actually did see a panda, but it was like, oh, and you know what it was? One had a thing of a panda, and the other one was like, "Want to see the Great Wall?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I want to see the fucking Great Wall." So I went to the info meeting, not knowing a lick of Mandarin, and I just kind of kept doing it. I just went. I had to fucking mow the lawn for like a summer and the entire fall after though to pay it off, because it was like $3,000 to do the trip. Yeah, but it was cool. It was a very, very fun trip. I went to a bunch of cities in China, and it was a very interesting experience. Yeah.
I've never been to China. I've actually never been to anywhere in Asia.
Yeah, now isn't a good time to go.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
about,
What?
I'm thinking about
No.
going right
Yeah.
now.
Now's the perfect time. Shit's cheap.
I
We're
wouldn't.
going to Wuhan.
Tickets are cheap.
Yeah, now's the perfect time.
Yeah, they'll put you in a building free of charge.
Lock you in there
Yeah.
too. You get extra free
and
days. It's perfect.
You mean? Are you making reference to the building that collapsed?
No.
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 There was
What the
a bit-
fuck? That's
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah, there was
Why
it
would
was
you
a
say
fucking
that?
hospital that
Yeah.
collapsed, didn't it?
I thought you were making reference
No,
to that
no,
for a
no.
second.
I was just saying, like,
He's talking about the
I-
virus,
I-
not
I
the
was-
hospital.
I
That's
was
too
saying
far,
that they
bro.
would just
Well,
quarantine
he was
you
like,
and
they'll
bolt
put you in
into
a building for free.
No, they'll just
then the
bolt,
building
no,
will
because
collapse.
they bolt people into apartment buildings. to
Yeah, they'll
quarantine
weld the
them.
door shut, and you're like trapped
Really?
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Do they give food?
I guess.
I don't know.
Did you?
Could be.
have
Did you hear what they did to the guy in North Korea that got the virus?
They just shot him, right?
Yeah, straight up, the first guy that got it, they shot him.
Have any of you seen the?
He could have recovered as well. Assholes. And they just,
That's
they-
the most
they just-
North
they just
Korean
increased
thing I
the
can
death
think
rate
of.
by one.
That's true.
Because he technically died of coronavirus.
Well, I think
think
that
he died. I think he
I
bullet.
think that-
no,
Yeah,
no,
bullet to the
he
head. I don't know
died
about
because he
that.
had coronavirus.
No, he
and was
definitely
shot
died
for
from
it.
a bullet.
He died from a bullet.
No,
Yeah.
no, because he was only shot because he had the virus.
I know, but the bullet didn't expedite the process of which the virus killed him.
No,
it was
but
the bullet
what
that
I'm
killed him.
technically saying is that coronavirus led to his death.
Yeah, if he didn't get
If he
the
didn't get
virus,
coronavirus, he wouldn't have
died.
been shot.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're saying that
Should have got sick in the
it's
first
another
place. It
double-
was
the
his own fault, if you
coronavirus
ask
was
me.
complacent in his death.
Dude, it's a
It was
it's
a-
a
It was an
dubski-
accomplice.
all I'm
An
saying is
accomplice,
that-
yeah.
All I'm saying is it's a dubski for coronavirus because they just killed another person.
Have any of you seen those videos of people in China where I think it's either China or Japan, but if you aren't wearing a face mask, the police would genuinely like beat you.
Really?
Yeah, there's videos of people where
the
the
fuck?
police would run
Wait,
up to them
hold
because they're
on.
not wearing a face mask and like
Just
tackle
start
them.
clubbing
Wait
the
a minute,
shit
tell me,
out
I
of
feel like
Did
that
they
just
make face
increases the
masks
chances they're
illegal
going to get a
in Hong
virus
Kong?
from him.
Yeah,
If they start
must be
hitting him,
doing
they
it.
start
The
touching them.
Cops must be wearing.
Oh yeah, you heard about that, right? Because the protests in Hong Kong, they made face masks illegal so the cameras could see them, and then the virus comes and no one can put on face masks because it's illegal.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
I had no
man.
idea about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
China's a whole different situation.
Did the Hong Kong protests ever?
No,
just
it's
end?
still going.
They're
It's still going
on?
now,
it's
even with the
still going.
virus.
They're still fighting for their freedom, man.
Asia's a little fucked, eh?
Asian test server right now is fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
Asia.
Yeah.
Asia. Euthanasia.
China.
Time will tell if what South Korea and Italy is doing will actually contain the virus. Of
South
of
Korea,
locking
their numbers
everything
have been
down.
going down. I've noticed over the last few days.
in Italy.
Or South Korea.
South Korea
Italy's
is doing
fucked right now.
South Korea is doing a pretty good job of of reacting to it though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're doing well.
Yeah.
Germany also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the
There
other
you
one?
go.
Singapore. That was the
Anyways,
other
you-
country.
I
that's doing
really-
well.
very good
I
job
really
right
feel
now.
like we should save the coronavirus talk for the Schladcast because he's been
Oh, it
itching.
just came up in conversation.
But
All right.
Yeah.
he's been
Natural-
You gotta get those
natural
clickbait
progression.
titles
He's been
right there.
itching at the neck, and I don't want to blow it. Yeah,
He's
he's
itching at
off
the neck. He's
camera,
been
itching.
getting a dry cough.
There he is.
Getting a little worried about him back there.
Oh, he's sniffing.
Sniffling.
Okay, are you allowed to talk about what your short film is going to be?
Yeah, it's
Exciting.
it's like the current premise right now is the short film about a guy who's miserable at his job, so he decides to order a hitman on himself, but he regrets it when he gets asked out on a date, so he has to like try to
Wait,
kill
by the
him.
hitman or?
No.
Oh, I was gonna
so
say that'd be a
he-
great plot twist.
By
He
someone
orders
that
a
he-
hitman on
by
himself?
someone that he's by
This summer.
by like a love interest that he's been talking to at the
That'd be
time.
the perfect
And-
romantic
yeah.
like comedy action movie. Think
Yeah,
about
and
it.
then in the end when he like kills the hitman, he like
Oh,
realizes,
spoilers!
Oh, what the fuck?
Okay,
Well, now you
I
can't
won't reveal.
upload
I
it.
won't reveal the end.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
You-
watch
you
it. So
just
feel
said
free.
You just said it, the ending.
Well, yeah, he does end up killing the hitman.
Okay,
but
just
then he
keep going,
realizes
keep
he's
going.
like good at it.
Oh, then he becomes the hitman.
Yeah,
and that
that's
becomes
sort of
his
the, that's sort of
job.
like the implication at the end is what it's going. We just did. I was just in New York last weekend, and we were in New York casting.
Are you the hitman or are you directing?
I'm directing.
Okay.
We auditioned some hitmen and stuff. It was a bummer because one of the since what's tough about going to school for film is that you can only really shoot on the weekends. And it was a bummer because someone who came in, they were freaking awesome. They did a really, really good job. Time will tell if I'll actually be able to cast them, but it turned out that they were like a lead on this Broadway show that's going on right now that I can't, just to be for their privacy, I won't reveal what it is. But it was a bummer because they were so good, but they have to be in New York at after 6:30 p.m. on the weekdays or the weekends because of that. So it's tough, but
schedule conflicts.
Yeah, so I got to go through all those auditions and figure that out.
What's casting like? Like, what's that? Whole
Basically, what we
You
did
get him on
was
a couch. You get him naked.
we did it through a casting service called Backstage, where you kind of pay to put up a listing.
And Backstage, not backroom casting, right?
No,
Okay.
Backstage. And then what we did, what my producer had us do was because he had cast from Backstage before, I had never done it before, and we basically got 850 submissions of people auditioning for different parts because we put the synopsis and sort of descriptions of the parts. And then we basically went through all those 800 people and looked at their reels and then sorted them into screw them, they suck, or yes, we could see them in this sort of part. And then what we did is we had them send in a video audition of a certain section of them reading for the character for a certain section of the script. And then from there, we sorted them into yeses. We want them to actually come in for an in-person audition.
So how long did that process take? Starting with 800 people,
for
process
the first
of
one,
elimination.
it took 7 hours to go through all the people.
Whoa.
And then the next one, it took 2 hours to kind of decide who we wanted to come in for the in-person audition. And then over the weekend, it was to do the in-person auditions. It was that took 11 hours.
How many roles
in-person?
were you doing?
We were casting for the main role. The main role character, his name is he goes by Charlie, and then there's the female supporting lead, and then there's the hitman, and then there is, oh my god, who's that? And then there's this really annoying guy who works at the guy's workplace.
I see.
So we were casting for 4 people, and then all the other parts we can kind of fill in with people who
So what's the pool of the people that you chose for the 4?
the pool? What do you mean?
how many show up after starting with,
800
like,
amount. So it was
in
800
person?
people.
We for some of the roles we probably were auditioning at most maybe 20 to 30 people per for the big roles, and then there was maybe 10 people that we ended up with.
Okay,
those smaller
so not
roles.
too many.
Yeah, 'cause not as many people audition for the smaller.
It's just
roles.
reading through all the clips and going through the reels and trying to find the
some of
portfolio
them
of
you
every
can
person.
you can just tell, and it's you kind of are. And what sucks is that there are a lot of people who are really good, but they might not exactly be
don't fit
suited
the role.
for. Yeah, exactly. So it's a bummer when you come in and a lot of time they'll come in, they'll do their line, and then as a director, what I'll do is I'll say, you'll try to push them in a certain direction to see if first of all they can take direction well.
Yeah.
And if how they'll actually interpret the part, and then you kind of give them in context for what you're looking for and to see. And then sometimes when someone does it for the first time, you can kind of tell that they're not even going to get it. So you tell them that that's all we'll need for you, but you can kind of see them kind of deflate a little bit because they realize that when you don't ask for more from them, that's pretty much an indication that you aren't going to be choosing them. So it's kind of a bummer to see that, and because I feel bad, but it's one of those things where it's we don't have that much time.
Sure.
So it's
It's a tough bussess. Entertainment.
Yeah. Because there's only
a
so
lot of
many
rejection.
roles, and these actors are auditioning for so many roles, and it's I swear it must be really tough being a screen actor when you're not that big and you're trying to get on shoots. It's tough. A lot of respect I have for those people but yeah.
Do you have to pay for it all out of pocket?
My
Or do you get a
idea
budget?
is if it turns out that I think I'm gonna put it on YouTube, or we either are gonna put it on YouTube or Amazon Prime. And sort of the way I'm viewing it right now is that if I'm going to do some sort of GoFundMe to sort of pay it off, what I want to do is once I finish the film and I know that I'm confident enough in the work that I have, and I also have evidence of the film actually being finished, I'll sort of do a tail end GoFundMe for it.
Just to kind of recoup.
Yeah,
loss.
exactly. And and usually the way that these student films are done is through GoFundMe's. And like for like the actors, that's probably one of the more expensive parts because you have to. A lot of these people are in the Screen Actors Guild,
Yeah.
so they have certain minimums for how much they should get paid, and also a lot of time it's like it makes sense to be paying them that much too because it's a lot of time it's just like the minimum is like $10 an hour. It's like $150 a day or something like that, or like $12 or something an hour.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So with the student film, the college is covering expenses in terms of equipment and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's basically you have access to we have access to a lot of we have some red cameras at the college too, which is nice, like the cinema cameras, and they're available to you based on what class you're in. So in thesis, you have the highest level cameras,
Easy.
pretty much.
Cool.
So it's good that it offsets that cost. One of the issues that's coming with the coronavirus, though, is that if they close campus and this sort of equipment center is student run, we're not really sure what we'll be doing in terms of that. I might end up just having to increase our budget by like $4,000 so we can just afford to rent that. I might just be paying out of pocket to rent out the equipment.
Shit, dude.
But I'm getting this film done no matter what. So
well, hell
it's
yeah.
like, yeah.
So what, like, how much time do you estimate it'll take to shoot?
We're aiming for 2 weekends, so like 6 days of shooting of like probably 12-hour shoots.
Oh, yeah. And how long is the film meant to be? 15, 30?
Yeah, like around 15 minutes.
Easy, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm
Would you
excited.
guys ever be interested in pursuing more mainstream entertainment rather than YouTube?
That's kind of like been my question with this film, sort of, because I know that like you guys had recently had TMG on, and Noel Miller. He had basically made a film, and I guess it took him a while for the whole post-production process, but he released it in end of December, and he posted it on his channel, and that kind of led me along the pathway of like maybe I should actually post this on my YouTube channel. But then there's also the option of we have an in with being able to get it on Amazon Prime. So I was thinking that it might look more legitimate if I were to put it on Prime, and maybe just put a trailer on
you can put
my
on
YouTube.
Prime, put a trailer on YouTube, and you
Yeah.
can wait until whatever contract is over with Prime, and then you can upload it to YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So, sort of, yeah.
And Prime,
I
Prime
do have,
will pay you for it too, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like the way it works is with Prime. It's like
It's like through streams.
It's how long you get a certain amount of money per minute being watched.
Oh.
So and that scales too. It's an interesting model for how it works. But yeah, to answer your question, I think that like I want to continue doing this YouTube stuff as long as I can, really. But I also at the same time want to be making films and stuff on the side and build my resume.
Well,
in that
if you're
sense
doing your film and thesis, I don't think anyone will give you shit for not putting that on your channel.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you're done with the film, as soon as you're done with your 2 months, like you'll be back on YouTube regardless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What about you, Travis? Would you ever want to be on TV or in movies or anything?
I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't know if that's like what I would want to do, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think you would, like, mainstream fame, the whole,
Right.
like, culty status of, following all these actors and stuff? Do you think you guys would ever want to be in that position?
What do you mean? Can you elaborate on that?
Like to walk a red carpet and have an entourage and have a bunch of people take pictures of you.
paparazzi.
I
stuff
think
like
that would only I would
No, I
only
don't
want
think so.
that.
I don't think anybody wants that.
I think I would only want that if that was the result of being able to make some fucking awesome work.
You'd want that as the result of hard work?
Yeah,
Well, sure,
but I
I'm sure
wouldn't want it.
anyone
I
would.
wouldn't want it to be some sort of like Kardashian, like you're famous because of.
You're famous
scandals or
because you're
something.
famous, kind of
Yeah, I wouldn't want that, and I'd rather have that sort of attention for like the work I'm making rather.
Would
than,
you
Yeah.
want that attention? Like, if you had the choice to...
That would mean that I think there's sort of pressure that comes with that, and then there's also like it could either be that's what's tough about making this film is that I have so much attention already. So making this film, it's not really the same as like anyone else who's releasing like a student like film right now at my school.
There's
because
like
they
an
don't have-
expectation for you.
Yeah, there's
Got
like
a
a
little bit
higher
extra pressure
expectation of me,
behind
which
it.
is kind of nerve-wracking. But so I would rather have it be I have that attention because the work I have made is enough to warrant that,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Deserved.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Travis, what's your favorite animal? Is it a dog or a monkey?
Honestly, monkey though.
Monkey though?
Yeah.
You say monkey over
Monkey
dog
though.
because
For
you're AVI on Twitter, your thing is usually like a little Shiba Inu, right? But it's
Where did that
also
start?
it's also a little
Where
monkey.
did that start? It was because it's based off of my early videos because I had every
The
single
dog.
one of the
Yeah.
clip art type videos at the beginning had the same like little picture of the angry dog.
Okay.
So that's where it came from. Yeah.
Interesting.
And what about the monkey?
I don't know. I just thought it was.
I
funny.
usually like monkeys.
Monkeys are
Yeah.
kind of
We
funny.
pimp
though.
chimping.
What's your favorite movie, Travis?
Movie?
Yeah. Do you have one? Or like a few?
I don't know why, but like one that sticks out in my head a lot is Pacific Rim. I think it wasn't because of the movie, but because of like the situation I saw. If that makes any sense.
I'm a big Wes Anderson fan.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson's cool.
What do you have like a top 5? Like
I
being
really
someone
like-
in that industry, do you have something
I
that you
really
really
like,
wish more people watched?
I really like Edgar Wright. I think he's sick. The have you ever seen the what? Oh, I thought you were yawning, but I thought you were mad.
I was yawning.
Oh, okay. There's like this set of 3 films he made called like the Corn Yellow or something, like the 3 flavors something. I forget
Okay.
what the movie, but it's basically like Hot Fuzz, The End of the World.
Oh, yeah,
and, yeah. I don't know. I just love the way that he like sort of uses the framing and stuff, and the way that he blocks his scenes and stuff. I think the comedy comes out of that in a really cool way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I enjoy his work and stuff like that.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
What's your favorite movie?
Interstellar.
Interstellar's
you?
cool.
Interstellar.
That's
Dude,
my
yes.
friend Tucker's favorite film.
I don't know if
Fuck
I have
yeah,
a
shout out
favorite
to
movie.
Tucker.
You have a
Yeah.
favorite movie?
Would be a favorite. I mean, there's a bunch of good movies. It's hard to pick out like which one would be like favorite of all time.
Oh.
Not like
What
a
about
big
like
enough.
You wanna hear
good,
something
a
funny?
good couple?
It's hard to say.
You
I'm
wanna
not
hear-
big enough
Toy
of a
Story
movie
1,
critic.
2, 3,
Here's
and
a
4.
here's a funny thing that happened with that regarding that question. When I first got out to LA for my semester out here, I didn't have an internship.
Just wait for the helicopter to go past. All right, carry on.
Okay. So when I was first in LA, I didn't have an internship yet, and they were like, you're gonna get an internship. You just got to do some interviews and stuff. So one of the places that I interviewed for was Blumhouse, and they did Jordan Peele's Get Out. They do a bunch of like horror flicks and stuff like that. And I guess it was for some sort of like producer under a producer, that sort of vein of internship work, like doing like assistant stuff or something like that.
Getting coffee.
But I fucked up that interview so bad.
What'd you
know
do?
why? They asked me what my favorite movie is. Blumhouse, by the way. They're a horror movie production company. Guess what movie I said that my favorite movie was? Because I had no idea what to say.
What?
Elf. I said that my favorite movie
It
was
was
Elf,
Elf.
the Will Ferrell movie
Will
where
Ferrell
he
movie.
is a fucking elf from a snow elf, fucking Christmas elf, going to New York City, and it was probably the dumbest answer I could have given. It's probably
You could have said Ted.
that's like the movie equivalent of saying that your favorite food is easy cheese. It was bad.
my favorite food are dinosaur chicken nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. It was and after I got in here, I was like, why did I say that?
Ted, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. No,
Yeah,
no.
it was
no,
rough.
no.
It was rough.
What do you think of the horror industry?
I
There's
pretty
a lot
scary,
of like
isn't it?
very lazy movies in there.
oh, you mean like stuff like made
The
by like
hor- the
Asylum?
horror?
I don't know, I just feel-
horror.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry. I just feel like a
Fuck.
lot of the horror genre is movies that are entertaining, but not for a good reason.
Like the shock value?
Yeah,
You mean?
Yeah.
very lazy.
It depends. It depends how you direct it. There are some really good
Yeah, there
horror
are.
movies that fuck with you. Psychological horror is the best.
Yeah, I think
Horror-
when it's just sort of the jump scare stuff, it's basically just like a glorified thriller. I think that when you I don't know, A24 has been doing A24 and Blumhouse both do a very, very good job of making horror films though, I think.
I really like
I think
horror movies.
someone should
Same.
make a horror film with the expectation that it's not a horror film at all.
Oh.
So people should advertise it as a rom-com or something like that. But just as the movie keeps going, it gets
That'd be
more and
very
more
interesting,
fucked up
actually.
and more, and it just doesn't. Like
Yeah.
people have no idea.
Yeah.
And it should be like that, because when you subvert expectations, that's when you can really fuck with people
Yeah.
psychologically.
But
There's
so
a-
When they
many
have
people are-
no idea they're
There's
in
a new
for it.
movie coming out that's called The Invisible Man. Have you seen that?
I've seen that
It's-
advertised
I think
everywhere.
It seems like some sort of anecdote towards like dealing with coming out of an abusive relationship or dealing with a previous abusive partner, which I think is a really, really interesting way when you have an abusive person who gains the ability to be fucking invisible and stalks the person that they're obsessed with. That's scary.
It's very
and I
scary.
think that hits. I think especially sort of in today's climate, that hits a note with a lot of people when we're, as a society, we're sort of addressing those issues that are pretty prevalent. So I think that in terms of a concept and the execution of it, I think that's a really interesting idea.
Really good idea.
Yeah.
Travis, what's your favorite color?
What's up with these easy questions for me, Swagger?
Travis, what's a secret that
A
you
secret?
have
What's your
that
darkest
you haven't
secret?
told
Yeah.
anybody? What's like a fun fact that nobody knows?
If I say it, then everyone will know.
A fun fact that everyone doesn't know that you want them to know. That maybe you haven't said.
I always put my left shoe on first
Why your left
Really?
shoe?
Weird.
because I'm right-handed.
Here's a question for you, Travis. How many months does it take until you stop tying your shoes and you start shoving your foot into this shoe?
First day.
Yeah, me
Really?
first. day as well.
First day, really? You don't care about the crispness? No, I'm not saying Christmas. Crispness of it for very long.
No, first day.
I'm on the
yeah.
same page.
Really?
All my
Yeah.
shoes are in a perpetual
tied
state
them.
of
Yeah.
tie.
The back of these shoes are like the back of them are totally fucking.
I feel like that's a
That's
style
why I like
though,
the
for some of the
Yeezys.
shoes.
The
just
Yeezys
slipping
are
them on,
so
you know?
comfy.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Like,
Yeah,
I
those-
don't-
those
'cause
are
literally
peak
me and
slip-on
Travis have
shoes.
The same.
Yeah.
Are you
They're
wearing
built
yours?
for comfort.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
that is true. With Yeezys,
Should I get a pair of Yeezys? I've
Yes,
heard that they're
dude, they're
pretty
so worth it.
expensive.
Honestly,
They're very comfy though.
They're
apparently.
expensive but durable.
How much do they
and
cost?
They're like
Depends
$600
what size your
bucks.
shoe is.
$600.
For a large-
No,
No,
he's
no.
massive foot,
Oh,
so it's
you're
gonna be like
fucked.
super
It
expensive.
You're actually
depends. There's,
fucked.
there's some that are cheaper as well.
You got
but
big old feet. What's your shoe size?
I'm a fucking 13.
Fucking
Yeah,
clown
it's
shoe
so
ass looking
big.
boy over here.
Jeez.
I'm
But
sorry.
Yeezys, I feel like you could take the laces out of them and they would still be as tight.
What? What are you talking about?
You genuinely just slip into them.
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, these shoes I paid $60 for, and goddamn, I might just order another pair of these same shoes, and just because I don't.
Do it. Be smart.
They're a good silhouette.
Yeah, I mean
They're a very iconic silhouette.
Yeah, I like them. They're the Continentals, Adidas Continentals, and the Stan Smiths are very comfortable too. But they sort of start. They're at this point they're not as comfortable anymore because I've just worn them in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
To answer your
like
question,
that.
Ted, I think what I have, my shoe lace ties right now, I think are the same ones I tied when I first got them. I just
Really?
tighten them up.
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
more.
yeah.
where did you get them? Did you get those in Australia?
Yep.
Yep.
Jeez.
Okay,
Fucking
Travis,
Australia.
if you weren't making gaming content, what would you be making?
Content.
Yeah, if you were still making content, but someone was like, you're not allowed to make any gaming content anymore, what would you do?
I don't know, man. That's
you
a hard
think-
question.
Do you think you would want to move into IRL at any point? Like for
Yeah,
your own
for
content?
sure.
Yeah. What do you think that would look like? Or have you just not
I,
really
I
given
feel like
any
it'd be
thought?
really funny if I did interview stuff. Like if
Oh,
I interviewed
it'd
people
be
on streets
great.
and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be very
Yeah.
funny.
I like doing that shit. It's fun. It's hard
Yeah.
though. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Like even for me, like I'm like an overwhelmingly extrovert
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, and like I still sort of have to hype myself up to go up to people and in a milkman costume and fucking talk to them.
I think
Mm.
you doing interviews would be, I think people would enjoy it. And I also think that, I mean, I don't know if you like it when people call you cute or not, but, you know, obviously you kind of had that reputation for being
The awkward childlike aspect. to
kind of
it.
like fun and cute. And I think people would like that if you were interviewing randoms on the street. They'd be like,
What if
oh,
you
this-
went? What if
know.
you
Oh,
went to
that'd
like
be
a
good.
science convention and you interviewed people on really complicated subjects,
Oh,
but
yeah.
asked the dumbest
Yeah, the
questions of
dumbest
them?
Go to the
Shit.
ones where they have like, remember in school you made like the 3-panel boards or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
go
like
up to them and be
science-
very
Why- you just
interested.
go up, you go,
Yeah.
Why is the sky blue?
and then they give a really complicated answer, and then you're just like,
Why do your
But
clothes
why?
get darker when you're wet?
Interesting.
and you keep asking just stupid stuff like, but why? And then
Yeah,
I
just
think that'd
keep
be really
just keep like being like genuine and like asking deeper and deeper into the science, and then just try to get to the point where they just go, I don't know, fucking God.
And they just get frustrated and they don't
And
want
then
to
you
talk
turn
to
to the
me
camera
anymore.
and you go, guys, Christianity 1, atheism 0.
Huh?
Nothing.
Exactly.
I think like with the
What?
state of YouTube right now, diversifying your content is something that's like a prime part of staying like sustainable on YouTube.
That's
Yeah, like
kinda
relevant
sure.
long term.
That's kind of how I
to be
went
diverse.
into the way that I wanted to do my channel, because if you like look at my channel, I don't usually do the same type of video. Like I have like, well, it's more like I have like a set of like 5 or 6 types of videos I do, and I just rotate through them all the time. And I don't really, and since I kind of set that, I hope that since I set that precedent, that I just kind of do whatever the fuck I want, that people will just sort of follow my channel for just kind of like, I guess, my sense of humor
Yeah.
or something like that.
Do you
It's-
find that there are certain types of videos on your channel that always do better than others?
I'm not even sure, since I'm in like a weird sort of growth phase. So things that do well, I had no idea would really do well. Like recently I made this video about me and my roommate just trying cereal, and that video had the
I watched
fastest
that.
velocity of any video I've ever
Really?
made. And it was, and as I was editing the video, I was like, man, this is gonna fucking suck. But it was because I don't know, I felt it felt like it was like a lazy video, but then I had to go in because we basically just went in and we tried cereals, and I did the research of finding where cereals were the worst, but like it originally it felt lazy when I hadn't gone in and done all the editing and work there. But I don't know. I can't really tell at this point. I haven't done a cooking video in a while, so that might be my most recent cooking video has like just recently passed like 200K views, and it
Nice.
didn't do that. Well, it's like not as good.
Still
it
pretty
didn't
good.
do as well. So
Still 200,000
So,
people.
yeah.
that is true. That is true. It's weird. That's another thing.
For doing like a one-off
The-
video.
The more you
I
get,
grow,
the more
my new
desensitized.
standards are,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a weird sort of mindset shift that happens where it's like, oh, it's only 200,000 views, and I'm just like, well, that is also 200,000 people. I don't think there's many
Yeah.
stadiums that have that many people in it.
Sometimes I catch myself. Like I released this VR chat video, and it got like 900K views in like 7 days, and I was
Yeah.
like devastated. I was like, oh, it didn't break a mil in 3 days. It's so fucking weird.
It is
yeah,
a
and you
weird.
catch
and
yourself
you,
and you
do have
realize
to
how
catch yourself
ridiculous,
and be like,
how
okay,
ridiculous it is.
Yeah, and still kind of research. I'm
It's like,
you know,
I
doing
only
the best
got
you can,
I only got 2,000 subs today. It's
Yeah.
usually 5. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
weird.
retarded.
It's a weird situation, and I think the way that I sort of what I attribute that to is sort of I think anyone no matter what situation you're in, you sort of just adapt. People are really easy at adapting to the situations they're in and it becoming the norm. So it's like I remember when I was talking to some of my friends who do YouTube and like how many views they got and how often they got like stopped in conventions and people were like wanted to meet them and stuff. I thought it was like very, very crazy to see how often that would happen, and they were generally chill about it. And what I realized is that when you get to that point, it sort of becomes the norm. You're not necessarily not grateful at all for it. It's just sort of you can't live your entire life being like, this is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
You kind of have to get to a point where it becomes the norm, and that sort of shifts to becoming a part of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. But it's kind of what happens with everyone, I guess,
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah, it's just something that you'd never. I don't think, no matter how many times people say it from the outside, you will never understand it until it actually happens to
Yeah.
you fully,
No,
like at a full level.
It's the same.
Very weird.
It's like the whole thing with money, where people are always like,
Yeah.
once you start making more money, you always want to make more money.
Yeah.
And it's like no one really gets to a point on YouTube where they get like 100,000 subs and they're like, cool, I don't need to grow anymore.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think, and that kind of also relates to like when anyone who has like an issue or is coming to their audience and saying, I have an issue, I need to take a break, or this is something I'm struggling with. There's a lot of people who will respond and say, you can't have these issues because you make this much money, or you
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
this wealthy or whatever. And I recently saw a video from Casey Neistat that he put a very, very good perspective on it, where it was that when you don't have as much money in your life, your main problems that could be solved in that moment are the ones that are pertaining to money, such as paying rent,
Yeah.
being able to buy groceries, stuff like that. And that's stuff that affects like a lot of like the average American. Like, average American can't afford like a $500, charge out of nowhere. But the thing is, when you sort of get to the point where you are financially stable, the problems then that's just you going up sort of like the Maslow's hierarchy stuff, where it's like the new issues that are the most present to you.
It's not
are stuff
food,
like,
shelter, or anything.
yeah, they're sort
but
of
it's
like
your
personal
relationships,
your personal mental health, and
Yeah.
and the thing is about like your physical health and stuff, like you being safe and in an environment where you can be healthy. Those are very important, but that's just one component out of stuff like social health. You've got your mental health, you've got your like spiritual health and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all just one. They all are equally important. It's just that I think
Yeah.
as a group, we kind of are like, it's really easy to criticize people
Yeah.
for having issues other than what is the most common thing.
I feel like it's also, it kind of looks like an easy job from the outside. Like you'll see like someone that does something like physically hard, like something like underwater welding,
Oh, yeah.
where it makes a fuck
Yeah,
ton
or
of
like-
money, but
like-
you also know it's physically dangerous. But you also don't see like some jobs like being a YouTuber or something like that,
Yeah.
where they're like, oh, that's easy, just
Or
sits
being
there
a
all day,
basketball
but they
player. All
don't
you do is
know.
shoot balls into a
Yeah.
hoop. Why do you get
Yeah.
$1 million a game?
Yeah, but they had to work so hard to get to that
Exactly.
point.
Yeah, there's a
You
lot
know,
of other
and
shit
it's
behind the
just-
scenes and
There's
shit.
a lot of reasons why.
Yeah, like one of
they
my
make the money.
videos on its own, it takes like if I'm just editing it myself, it takes me like almost a full 24 hours to finish.
Yeah, dude, 20, 40 hours
Yeah,
of
it's
video is
crazy.
pretty standard.
Yeah,
For
it's
people
wild.
that are editing themselves. A lot of people that say, oh, you guys make money playing video games. It's like, no, I don't. I make money editing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you guys, being a YouTuber isn't all glam. It's what's shown on videos and stuff.
And that's
But-
not to say that it's not really, really cool though.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's
Yeah.
really,
it is
really
a
cool.
total dream
It's just
like,
that
job.
it's not all, it's not like you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
Unless you have a team of
It's not-
editors working
it's
for
not,
you.
I made $8,000 this month from home. See how?
Yeah,
Yeah.
drop shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying like getting the footage is like step one.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
getting the footage, then there's sitting down and cutting it, and then there's
Yeah.
editing it, there's doing your subtitles, and you have to be funny. The video has to be entertaining.
Yeah,
There's
and then
so
the whole
much that
time,
goes into
and
it.
the whole time too, you're totally just doubting yourself along the way.
Yeah,
too.
and you're like,
People only
this
see the
video
final
sucks, and
product
people are
of
gonna hate
everything,
it.
Yeah,
It,
exactly.
it's a mental toll, and it's also, a lot of the work can be very boring. If you're
Yeah.
sitting there for 16 hours subtitling an entire manuscript of the fucking video, then you're gonna want to, you're just gonna want to be done with it.
Right.
It's just not. You're not just playing a game
Yeah.
and
I think
getting
that's why
a
burnout
paycheck.
happens a lot. There's that whole
100%.
Oh,
burnout
yeah.
issue. Although part of it, I think, is also like when there's such a high when you're in the growth period too. When it's like you're like getting all of these views.
Well, that's
and
the
stuff, and
gratification.
Yeah.
Sit there F5 in the page, watching like the stats go up and shit.
F5 on the page? Is
Like
that just
refresh.
Oh, that's
Refresh,
refresh.
yeah.
Oh, I
Alright,
didn't
if
know
you don't know that.
Why did I straight up not know what refresh button on?
Yeah, dude.
Yo, the comments are gonna be like, "Ted's stupid."
Yeah, you should
Stupid,
just
bro.
alt F4 and end the podcast
Yeah.
now.
All right.
I'm gonna F5 this podcast.
Before we end the podcast, is there anything that you guys wanted to bring up at all?
Bring up,
Yeah.
such as just like
I wanna-
Whatever you want. You
I-
can bring up whatever you want before
I
we
would
stop.
I would like Travis to give a taste of what an interview with him would be like. Just interview.
Yeah, interview him real quick.
Interview one
Interview
of
him.
us.
yeah, interview.
Come on,
Do it.
do a little interview. Be the host.
Interview
Do-
swags.
talk to the camera. Do the thing.
I've never
Don't
done
put
one
the
of these
boy on the
before.
spot.
I couldn't put you on the spot.
Come on, Travis, you got this. I believe in you, buddy.
You got it, Travis. Ask an easy question.
Ask him his favorite color.
So swagger.
Yes, Travis.
Alrighty, thanks for coming by to the Misfits podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Is there anything you guys want to bring up at the end?
I don't know. Subscribe to Travis's channel. He makes good gaming videos.
It's Traves.
Come over
right?
to my channel if you want something that's like not gaming videos and is me fucking around and making fun of movies and people and myself.
And also check out Lunch Club on YouTube.
Yeah,
Lunch
check out our
Club.
Lunch Club. We recently made a, well, this will probably be different by the time this podcast goes up, but we recently released a video of us making Minecraft recipes from scratch, and it's a very horrifying video,
It's
and you
very
should watch.
good. Very fun.
Yeah.
You guys ate a lot of butter.
Yes, I did. Yeah, we did. It was. It's just chaos in the kitchen. That's my brand.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you to Travis and Ted for coming.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having us on.
we'll see you guys next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.